guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 8 kiddos. I usually have my camera a little bit faced this way, but my almost 2-month-old, it's crazy, can you believe that, is sleeping on the bed. So I wanted to try and do a video or two while I can. First, I kind of wanted to give an update on how this school year is going so far. This is 2023 to 2024. So I have a high schooler, a 6th grader, a 3rd grader, a 2nd grader, a kindergartner, and then 2 that are kind of doing like just random workbooks or letters, shapes, colors, not quite preschool, but like maybe like a tot school kind of thing, or preschool. So first of all, a lot of the changes that I've mentioned in previous videos regarding curriculum that I've done, that I've kind of switched around a lot, which I'll kind of go into specifics on how that's working on other videos, but pretty much all the changes that I've made that I thought would be better are better. So I'm fingers crossed for that. I have done quite a bit of curriculum changes as far as just kind of the simplicity for some of my kids that just don't do well with a lot of the fluff that comes with a lot of these curriculums. And so far that has worked. I've been pleased with that. I've been pleased with my curriculum choices thus far. Now, granted, we are only like almost 2 months in, a month and a half-ish in, because we started a little bit later than normal, but overall, I think it's done really well. I have realized that every kid, more so now than ever, that every kid really is different, because I will, you know, for a while I was trying to do like all the same curriculum, I say company, but you know, curriculum piece for all that it applied for. So for example, for math, for elementary, I would do all of the same. For language arts, for elementary, I would do all of the same. It just doesn't work that way. I have some kids that are a little bit more advanced in reading. I have some kids that are a little bit behind in reading. I have, it's just a matter of how different they learn, how differently they learn, and how differently the different curriculum pieces really have an impact on how well they do in that particular subject. So for those that kind of take a little bit more time to read, I have found that a particular curriculum, and I'll just say it's the Master Books curriculum, I think works really well for my kiddo that knows letters and knows sounds, but as far as reading the words, it's not so complex of a curriculum that he's like overwhelmed, as for myself as well. So it's a lot easier to teach. And so I have really, with teaching so many different grade levels right now, with so many different kids and personalities and all of that, I have really noticed this year how important it is to cater to each child differently, as it relates to their learning style and how much they enjoy a curriculum based on how long the lessons are, how much attention span do they have to sit and actually do this curriculum, do this lesson. Like, do you have time for 3 pages of language arts, or is 1 page sufficient? You really have to make sure that you look into all of that. Juggling all my different kiddos, I will do a separate video on kind of how I manage my homeschooling with 8 kids in the house. It's been a challenge, but I think I've done really well so far it takes a lot of patience, a lot of patience. And especially with a, well, not so newborn anymore, but a newborn at the time when we started, it takes a lot of trial and error. And I have learned that with each time I have a newborn, because typically I'm homeschooling during that time anyway. But just kind of knowing that your schedule, if you have a schedule that is really like to the hour, to the minute, it's just not going to work that way unless you are, you would be such a superhero if you figured out a way to do that, because I can't do that. It is really a matter of kind of working around the baby's schedule. Now, by my 8th kiddo, he just sleeps on my chest, or he kind of just goes with me wherever I'm going, or I can just lay him on the bed and go do something and not worried that he's going to fall off. You know, there's a lot of differences, I think, with like a first or second time mom versus an eighth time mom. So my schedule is very lax as it relates to my newborn, and I kind of go with the flow with that. And the other kids just know that, okay, if we have to do a diaper change or we have to feed, we might have to change places on where we homeschool. We might have to wait 5 minutes and just sit while I finish something. So, you know, the kids are pretty much used to that by this point, but at the same time, I really stress the importance of not having such a strict schedule, especially if you have a lot of kids. It just is a game changer, and kind of just like gives you a little bit of grace to not stress out so much, you know, yourself with a schedule and a hour-to-hour schedule. Now, again, if that works for you, great. It just has never worked for me with a lot of kids. The school days are kind of longer for my older kids, especially my high schooler. It can take him quite a while, and I'm going to do a separate video on how my homeschooling high schooler is going. But, you know, where we used to finish at lunch, my younger kids obviously finish by lunch. That is no problem at all. My second to oldest is usually done by lunch, but we'll sometimes stretch that out. Not necessarily because she has too much to do, but she's just very thorough. And my oldest is because he has a lot. He has a lot, number one. Number two, the lessons are time consuming. Number three, he has certain things he has to do. You know, and he knows that if he doesn't time it out right, then you're going to be behind. So we have kind of juggled with that a little bit, and we don't necessarily do every subject every day, but he knows kind of the main subjects being science, language arts, and Spanish takes a while too. So he's kind of, I'm letting him kind of navigate that a little bit, because he doesn't like to be behind, and he knows what happens if he falls behind, and so especially at this stage. So we have tried to start a little bit earlier in the day, and it's pretty much like right after breakfast we start, as opposed to kind of, you know, waiting around, hanging out, you know, procrastinating. It's pretty much we start right away. And I think a lot of that has to do with where we homeschool. So whereas we used to go upstairs and do that, but then of course you have toys up there and you have distractions up there. And so downstairs, it's like, okay, we move from the table to the couch, or the couch to the table, or wherever. And you're already downstairs, and you don't have to worry about toy distractions and all of that as you do upstairs. And so I think with my older two, they just kind of know it's going to take you a little bit longer to finish your stuff, but especially with my oldest. And again, a lot of this is stuff that he, you know, the videos that he has to watch, that kind of stuff. that takes a while. So it's not something that he's like piddle-paddling and just not, not doing his work on time. It's that the lessons are literally longer. The videos could be half an hour long. And so he's really kind of working with how to navigate that. He's done really well with that. And then kind of staying on track so far, we've done really well with that. I have really made it a point to the things that need to be graded for him, especially I grade on time. The ones for my second oldest, the stuff that needs to be checked, I check it on time because I don't want to be pushed back, and I want to make sure we are all staying on track. And if there is a day where it is super crazy, or I have appointments, or whatever that I, for one reason or another, just couldn't work around, we make sure we do language arts and math. We make sure we do those because I do not want to fall behind like we did last year. And staying on track just makes me feel more just like in control of homeschooling, and makes me feel more put together. So overall, so far, the month and a half that we've been in school for this year has been really good. There have been, a couple times where I've had to let me refocus myself a minute because maybe my house is dirty, or, things need to be done. I'm like, okay, let me just finish school first. And usually once I finish school, then I can, I let the kids watch, play video games or watch TV or whatever after they're done. So I'm not one of the moms that does not allow that at all during the week. I think I would probably go crazy, and judge me if you must, but with that many kids in the house, it is not, as long as you get your work done, I'm okay with that. And that is primarily because we leave the house at about between 3 and 4, depending on what activities we have going on that day. So it is not like a whole day, like you're done with school and then the entire rest of the day you are playing video games. It is, you have, a few hours to, kind of like chill, and you can go play, you can play video games, whatever, watch TV, but we're going to leave at this time. And this is when we need to start getting ready. And so it's kind of, it's just kind of like a known thing in this house that, okay, by this time we need to start getting ready. And so, I think it's very beneficial for them to just kind of do their own thing after they're done. I don't want to say their reward, but it's kind of like if you're in public school and your kid is sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, that's what I'm trying to avoid. So letting them kind of do their own thing once they finish their work and they don't have anything else to do, I'm okay with that. So that's how this year has gone so far. I will give another update, and obviously I'm going to make videos on specific areas of our homeschool so far, especially for high school, because this is such a learning opportunity and a learning curve for me that I want to share kind of my experience and my I say knowledge because I don't have much knowledge on it so far, but my research to maybe help some of you other parents that are in need of that for high school. So let me know if you have any other questions down below, guys, and I will see you next time. Take care.